an unfortunate setup if that does end up happening. But if EMPs are in use, it could definitely do a lot of damage. So we'll see if it happens. I'm pretty sure those will be in use. But like you said, kind of in some ways saddened by the lack of vision pulse when it comes to this game.
I'm just kind of I'm shocked, to be honest. I mean, if you're not gonna opt for it, I guess people don't realize how important Vision Pulse is, and it's probably disappointing to us too, because our job is to really not only cast over these fantastic players here in the Black Ops 3 League for Perfect Alliance, but also we take a lot of notes in the pro side of things. And when you see some of those innovative picks from the pro players, how the ban and protect works out there, you're expecting some of these players to also study that type of film as well, because you're definitely going to want to see what the pros decide to do in that regard. But if it doesn't go through, you have to make sure that it shows up in your gameplay. And right off the break, an interesting weapon pick by Muni. He's got the Razorback in hand, long barrel in that also equipped, and the grip and quick draw. This is going to be interesting to see how he's going to get map control with this very rarely used SMG.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the choice of that. Obviously, the SMGs were kind of taken off the map in general, but I mean, hey, if it works, it works. And obviously, he's made it way to the back of the map. He's going to realize all of his teammates have dropped, so he has no issue kind of remaining in the back of the map. In some ways, if that flag does end up dropping to his way, grabbing that one and getting out of theirs, that's exactly what he's going to do. Stumpy realizing the situation. One of his teammates gets shut down from behind, and he also ends up dropping. So Moonybro, the fight for the flag, he's going to throw it on the smoke and be able to possibly get that flag as he's going to walk away, possibly maybe with a 5 feet lead, but Chasmo stays alive, and that flag is going to read both flags being brought back to their bases. As that was just an amazing gunfight in the middle, but nothing really equaling out to much.
That literally looked more like competitive Halo CTF, and they were juggling the flag back and forth, but a very good stop coming in for Resent, and now Arcity's trying to set up some kills with his M8 in top barn, does get shut down, and two players overextending for Resent Gaming. One of them stuffed out by Muni, and then the other is going to be taken down, and that was Miz. But so the damage was done there by EZG defensively. Now they're going on an offensive push, and they've been able to account for these Resent players quite effectively throughout.
Yeah, I think just in general, though, Resent are on the more favorable side. When it comes to CTF, I mean, in some cases, which side is more prevalent? It really isn't that prevalent, I guess you could say, but Shiva shot, that's kind of hard to say. Say that 10 times fast and I will grant you a wish, but either way, Chasmo grabbing the flag, Razorback in hand. That's not really going to do too much damage, as that flag now going to be grabbed by Arcities, as he's going to have his teammates watching through. The cuts are coming in, and that's a great play. And this could possibly be an early flag cap for Arcities, as this looks to be a great situation for him. That's going to do it. The perfect relays and also just the perfect cuts being watched from EZG are going to equal out to an early cap, and that was Arcities constantly kind of being an option, having that Razorback in the back of his pocket, or excuse me, not Arcities, but Moonybro constantly having that Razorback in the back of his pocket, always being someone to watch out for. But like I said, EZG starting off hot, as they're doing a great job here off the break on this more preferable side.
Confident of the game plan is EZG as well. They're using unconventional weapons and are making it look easy. Resent is not really able to respond too well to the Razorback, but as I say that, Simp able to pick up Muni with a nice MR6 shot. And now you're starting to see that some streaks are available for those EZG players as well. And Arcity's having to defend his own flag is doing well so far, not allowing any pulls or sneaky plays. And he's got some more players in barn that he's going to watch out for. So this is going to have to be a perfect defensive stand by EZG. And so far, so good.
Absolutely, Brolic making sure that one doesn't get too much farther, but he ends up dropping a couple in the base. Now, infamous Joel, the last alive, MR6 shots in the back of his pocket. That's going to be a good play from him. Has that Psychosis whenever he needs it, but the Heat Wave coming into use, and now Simp is nowhere near that flag to really make much of that play just in general, but that was a great hold from the side of EZG. Those HGXD cars coming out, I believe, from Chasmo, or excuse me, from Unibro. He's going to go on a little bit of a driving simulator and able to take that player out as well. So overall, just a great job from EZG. Have no issue currently being up 1-0. It's nothing like Uplink when it comes to overall score. One flag lead is basically like I guess like 4 points, I guess you could say, when it comes to Uplink. I don't really know. I'm making conversions that really make no sense at all. But either way, this is a great job from EZG, kind of remaining at the back of their base. And Arcities does have that lightning strike when he needs to use it. See if it becomes viable in the next minute or so.
Yeah, they're slaying very well. And here's a question for you, Landon. Based on what you've seen so far, do you think that Miz, being that substitution player there, has he been able to fill in the roles like we saw on map 1? Because he wasn't there on map 1. But what do you think has gone wrong for his team in that regard?
I mean, maybe just in general, they didn't see a good performance out of him. I mean, they won the first game, so I'm not really sure if that was just like an overall switch, like he's better for a search and destroy, or this guy just, has to go. I think he's brought a little bit to the map. I mean, he hasn't done terrible. I think, he's currently 3-9, so it's not like the best option to talk about him now, of course. But, I mean, I think he's done a pretty good job as he just gets shut down by that nice scythe play. But I think he's done a little bit. I don't think he's really hurt the team too much. But when it comes to this game right now, I mean, he's definitely not providing any positive attitude or any positive overall, progression in their game. So, I mean, just in general, I don't think he's brought too much. And if anything, I think he's maybe remained average. But it always does hurt to always have a roster change in the middle of a series, let alone just in general, because that communication, it's 25% of your communication, 25% of your gameplay, and it hasn't really seemed to work out for them just in general overall as a team.
Well, you're absolutely right, and of course I want to point out the fact that it's not over quite yet. Rosette just down one flag cap. They're able to at least hold that to at least a limited margin there, and they're gonna have to really turn up on the second side of play, able to stop the last second rally by EZG. And honestly, that's just a stand by EZG. They're just showing, hey, look, we're up right now, we're not going to be able to capture this flag, but we're going to be in your face for that final kill cam, just so that we can get in your head for the second side. The question is that really going to be a defining moment in this series? We'll find out here shortly, because 1-0, not a massive lead by any means.
Without a doubt. And I want to point out as well that Resent were on the least favorable side, so obviously like the non-preferable side when it came to that first 5 minutes. So we'll see how they kind of respond. I mean, a one flag lead isn't like by any means an insane play, because if you score one, you're obviously back in it. But either way, it's definitely a good job out of them off the break, because Miz is now going to be left all by himself. HWK being in use, especially whenever you only saw the Man of War be shut down. That's kind of interesting. But 4 go down for Resent, and how can EZG respond as they make me eat my words as they're showing that this is their better half, at least off the break, as this is going to be an early flag cap going in. The lightning strike to add a little bit of insult to injury, and also the HTX card doing some work, as the EZG guys are just having a field day, pulling out those streaks, and looks like Stumpy going to go for a little bit of a flight simulator with that dart.
At this point, Resent has to slow down the pace of this game and figure out a way to combat these aggressive pushes by EZG. If they're able to do that, they're able to get themselves a tie and possibly an overtime here. But as it is now, the streaks are really paying dividends for EZG, and those darts are really holding those Resent players at bay for now. Simp trying to push up on the map. His scythe is available to use, but he's immediately melted right there by an ATXD. And once again, 4 players down. EZG now pushing up on the map.
EZG are looking to be, without a doubt, one of the most talented slaying teams when it comes to the Perfect Alliance League, in my opinion. But, I mean, this is just a great play for them. Stumpy takes out one, ends up dropping, so the Psychosis in some ways was pretty useful. Those clones not going to do too much damage, or if anything, not any damage at all. But Archie's going to grab the flag. RK5 shots there as well, and he's going to walk away with the flag. But how long can he last? How long can the Cavalry get there? But he's going to dodge past one player. He goes inside of Tool, and his teammates are going to provide at least a little bit of a distraction, and this is going to be an easy flag cap. By no means was it easy, but for his teammates it was difficult, but making it easy for RSDs as they're going to go up 3-0, 3 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Resent have got to turn it on here and now, but the streaks, the overall gameplay, and the dart play out of EZG has been absolutely stellar up to this point.
Well, you've got some fighter pilots for sure, too. We've got some people leaving the game a little early, and to be honest with you, when you have that happen, it's actually very upsetting, considering there's still 2 minutes and 45 seconds left on the map, you've got that happening. It's upsetting to say the least, and of course, Miz not going to be able to do anything, and his team's pretty much hanging him out to dry here on this map 4. And what else can I say other than the fact that at the end of the game here, you still got time to get something going, get your confidence back. You're not out of the league by any means, you're not down in the standings, and to rage quit a match, it frustrates me as a caster, and it's definitely not a good show of sportsmanship at all.
Oh no, it's basically saying, hey, we lost and we're so salty about it that we're gonna have to leave the game because we're not gonna have to finish it out. So I'm not one to hate on people, but when you leave a game early, and especially like that was no means like they're down by 3, it's not like they're down by like 6-0 or anything like that. It's not a comeback that we haven't seen before. Like I can kind of in some ways, I guess you could say, prove and say, you know what, it's possible. Like there's a reason to in some ways leave the game early whenever something happens, but it's even something that I've seen in the Call of Duty World League. When someone loses a match, it seems that player, someone left the game, someone else left the game. It's like just stay till the game's over. It helps with stats for everyone else, and overall provides a reason why the game went the way it did. And for casters as well, I mean, what kind of analysis can we give for this game? Resent lost, and they, don't have a response. That's just kind of the question, I guess. I'm not really sure. It's just kind of frustrating.
It is frustrating. We're gonna go back into the cams here, so you guys don't have to watch pointless gameplay here on stream. So we apologize for that. For those of you who were tuning in or are fans of EZG, I really wanted to see this close out. And the main thing that I want to point out here, that when you see things like this in the Call of Duty World League, for example, usually the final seconds are ticking off the timer. Teams can't come back in any way, but you're down 3-0, 4 minutes left on a side, man. Super frustrating to see that happen, but obviously this is going to go down as a dominant victory for EZG, and now their standings are definitely going to look good throughout the season, as they were able to not only pick up a good series win, but a 3-1 victory is very, very good, because at this point you're going to see that that's really going to give them an advantage over Resent Gaming here on that #1 spot going into the playoffs soon.
Yeah, I believe it's 10-3 to 10-4. So overall map record going to be higher for the side of EZG, like you mentioned. That was just, like you said, a great performance out of them. I mean, kind of going over the maps, I guess we could take in just a minute here. But I mean, the first hard point went in favor of Resent. I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, this search and destroy has to go in favor of EZG. I mean, just the overall, when you're a more dominant search and destroy team, the hardest part about winning a game is being a protect phase. And that's where you can kind of, in some ways, lure the game back in your favor, getting those concussions on the map, at least protecting one or the other, kind of making sure those gunfights in some way can favor you under the right circumstances. But they were able to fire back in that search. I think it was Casmo who was going absolutely off, picked up 3 kills and a kill cam in the first round or two, which brought a lot to their overall morale. We went to the uplink over on evac. They seem to be the more dominant respawn team. It was complete 360 turnaround for what we saw in the first game. You mentioned that sub in, I believe, from, I can't remember the player's name, but for the side of Resent, did that hinder them? I'm not sure if it did or not, but
he actually was the only one who finished out the game. So
that's true.
I think he deserves a lot of credit. He had a tough match, and then he stays throughout the whole game, able to pick up 13 kills. He had a slow start, picks up 13 with no teammates there. I really like the way that he played throughout the night. I think he deserves a lot of credit. He was the only good sport in his entire roster, so he gets a lot of credit from me. The other 3, well, you'll probably see me tweet about that later on social media, because I don't think that that is a good way to show how you are as an organization, and it's just very unprofessional in my opinion. So sorry to keep beating that into the ground, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. Either way, though, a huge shout out to each and every one of you guys who came through. That was the only match we had scheduled for tonight, as of course we have seen some sad exits in our league. We've seen some good teams that are just not able to hold a roster for the 6 weeks of the league, and one of those that just recently unfortunately could not continue in the league was none other than Lethal Gaming, and it was very sad to see them depart from the league. They were definitely a team that was the only flawless team at the beginning of the season. They started out without dropping any series, and now, unfortunately, with some roster changes happening after UMG South Carolina, it's tough. It's been tough for a lot of these teams.
Without a doubt. I think I've said that every time I get to you since I think I said without a doubt. I'm not really sure, but it's really true, though. It's kind of unfortunate. I mean, when a roster can't really stick together, but in some cases, if it's not working out, it's not working out. And for the side of Lethal Gaming, it seems that was the case. But still on top, though, is Resent and EZG. I thought we kind of witnessed a really good series through and through. We did see the rage quit at the end, but just in general, though, I think we were gifted a pretty good series. I'm pretty proud of how that one overall went down. Saw some amazing clutches in Search and Destroy. And honestly, I was kind of rooting for the side of Resent. I really wanted to see a Game 5 happen between these two squads, but in the end, it was just not the case. But I cannot wait to see these rosters move forward.
It could have been a Game 5, in my opinion. All you have to do is figure out a way to regroup, and that's the best thing I can say. As a former competitive player myself, it's definitely something that we tried always to make sure that we kept our heads held high, and some of the best wins I've had in my career have been from behind when my team really regrouped and was able to get that last-second victory, and those are more rewarding. When you work so hard to get those victories, it feels so much better at the end. But if you give up, You never get that chance. So at the end of the day, it's definitely something that hopefully Resent can figure out. And, EZG now with an 8-win streak with their series victory here tonight was exactly